Good evening, everyone. My name is Heather Abbott. I want to welcome you to tonight's master class featuring excuse me, featuring Dr. Gary Lindner, who is a former faculty member of UC Davis. He is also a current adjunct professor at Chico State University as a PhD in physiology. We also have a whole host of other speakers this evening that are going to be sharing their wellness home stories, and he's going to be introducing them. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Dr. Gary.
Well, thank you, Heather, and I want to thank right up front everybody who is going to be joining us this evening as volunteers. They volunteered to tell their wellness home stories. I've been looking forward to this presentation all week. So let's kind of get started. I just have a couple slides I want to go through. And we do this every Tuesday evening. Well, not every Tuesday evening unless we're on vacation. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But each week we talk about self-care, and we define that as becoming aware of and then making choices for a healthier life. So we bring an awareness to the problem. We'll do that tonight, why the problem exists, and then solutions to the problem, and so that we can all be healthy by choice, not by chance, through the vehicle we call the Nikken Wellness Home. So if we look at vital, what is vital for our health? I think we could all agree that air is pretty vital. We need oxygen, we need water, we need to sleep, we need to feed our bodies, and we also need natural energies of the sun, the earth, and the air. So if we look at the way things currently exist, they aren't necessarily the way nature intended or in a healthy condition. Look at air, it's contaminated, toxins, chemicals, environmental toxins that can lead to all kinds of issues. We don't treat nor diagnose, but if you kind of look at some of these problems that we have on the left-hand side here and look at root causes, you'll find the same thing that we found as far as what causes them. So water, again, contaminated, toxins, chemicals, chlorine, usually exists acidic, where in nature it's usually more alkaline. Sleep, inadequate sleep, poor quality sleep, not restorative. As far as our food, over-processed, extra calories, excess sugar, chemicals, and not very nutritious. We look at natural energies, a lot of those are blocked. They can be blocked by our home. They can be blocked by EMF contamination. So we really want things, and what we talk about within Nikken is providing things the way nature intended. So pure energized water and air, deep restful sleep, natural organic nutrition, whole food, and the natural energies of the sun, earth, and air. And that's really what Nikken is all about. So Nikken is a Japanese company started 45 years ago. It is an anagram for Nihon Kenko Zoshin Kinkyukai, which means Japan Health Enhancement Research Institute. They do research and development on energy-based technologies for wellness, and their guiding philosophy is pretty simple yet profound. Common sense solutions are found in nature. And we're looking at the energies, three vital energies here that fuel our body. So it's the energy of the sun, the energy of the wind, or ionic energy. And if we're talking about the energy from the sun, a lot of times we're talking about those that aren't in the visible spectrum, but in the infrared range. And then the energy of the earth, the magnetic energy of the earth, free electrons when we connect to the earth with our bare skin. So we deliver all these in what we call the Nikken Wellness Home. And it's where we use science and technology to replicate nature so we all can be healthy by choice. So we address healthy air, water, sleep, natural energy, and whole food nutrition. And this is, right now, I want to introduce our guest speakers for this evening. And we're going to start with Lyle and Sandy Meeker. So Lyle and Sandy, take it over and tell your favorite wellness home stories.
All right. Thanks, Gary, and I appreciate the invite to come on, and it's a pleasure. My name is Lyle Meeker, and my wife, Sandy. We're living here in Central Texas in the town of Temple. We're kind of like dead center in Texas. So we get the heat, we get the cold, we get it all sometimes, more than we want. And I'm a retired Army vet, spent 20 years in the Army, and then of course did maintenance and stuff in hospitals and other work around our community. Well, the water, which is to me is the base for everything, and it's the synergy for everything else to work. But what I found when we first got our wellness home and the water, almost 15 years ago, I started drinking the water, and I found that I did not have the cravings for those bubbly sweet drinks. And after 2 months, I noticed my belt was a little looser, and I checked, and I lost 20 pounds in a couple of months just by getting on the water. I felt my joints, felt I didn't have a lot of creaking because, of course, they're getting lubricated by the great water that the filter provides. And so I recommend that anybody, the very first product, and they're not sure what to get, is get the water, because the proper hydration, all the other technologies will work to their maximum potential. The other product that really got me was the Kinko Magflex, or back then it was just the Backflex. Through the military, 20 years, we never got proper classes on proper lifting, and so we abused our bodies in the military, lifting things that we're not really supposed to lift, or two-man lifts or whatever, supposed to get help. But of course, we never paid attention to that. We were told to get it moved, so we moved it. And so I ended up with some real aching issues in my back, and went through a lot of the Western modalities that they suggested I go through. And I really didn't have much relief. I would get a temporary relief, but not that much. So I started using the Backflex, that the Kinko Magflex that what our upline had suggested to me. And with that, and the combination of the water, I started getting relief within 12 to 24 hours. And after about a week of wearing it constantly, I didn't have the achiness in my back and down the back of my leg that I had before. And so it was like, there's something to this. I'm not a scientist. I don't know technology, but it works. And, you put it where it hurts, and it seems to go away. And I'm going to turn it over to my wife, Sandy, and we're going to talk about the Kinko Air.
Hi, everybody. I used to have allergies. And well, my background is I'm a registered nurse, and I am adjunct at University of Mary Hardin Baylor. But I used to have allergies, and long before, and I took all of those over-the-counter medications, as we all know. But as we started using the Kinko Air, I didn't have to take any allergy medicine anymore. Now, if I go outside and the cedar's really flying, I might get a little stuffed up nose. But otherwise, this air purifier is the most awesome thing that I have ever experienced, and I don't have to take medication anymore. So, thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Lyle. I love hearing people's stories. I mean, the Wellness Home is incredible. We've got some more for you. So next up, we've got Yoko Sue, and Yoko is going to talk to us about healthy sleep, the Kinko Nature is Sleep Pack.
Hi, everyone. I'm from corporate America, and I am based in Southern California and have the fortune of having what I consider is a wonderful environment. But it's interesting. I was introduced to Nikken through my sister. She bought a water pack and a sleep pack. And I noticed with her, it's interesting, Lyle, just the same thing with the back. I mean, she said her back was comfortable in a couple months. And that I noticed. And I asked her why, and she said, because you're walking straighter. You seem to be walking less younger, like not like an old lady. So I said, well, I'm going to try this out. So I bought the water and sleep pack. Now I have very, very few health issues, but I had dry skin, dry hair, dry everything in the whole world because I had my thyroids extracted in my 20s. And then I noticed just in a couple of months, my skin was less flaky. Then more so, I was telling everyone, I can't believe it. I sleep all night, never woke up. But after a couple of months, my sleeping was very, very noticeably better. I woke up every morning ready to go. I had this energy. I had this clarity. I called it more of a focus. I felt almost 10 years younger because I was multitasking again and I was really excited. So I said, there's something going on here, just like you, Lyle. I said, what's happening here? And I said, so I'm from corporate America. I beat the Wall Street for 4 decades. How come I never heard of this company, Nikken? And that's basically what got me to look at this more. Because think about this. If you had an opportunity to not only help yourself and your family, but then you also now have the exposure to be able to maybe help others, it's really a major gift for me because in corporate America, all I did was make money for the shareholders. Now I have an opportunity to help other people also create whatever they want. So it's a wonderful, wonderful, I call it win-win situation. And how can you have wonderful water, air, sleep, nutrition, and energy, and that I have from a wellness home? And you'll have to hear more because a wellness home is an amazing, amazing product. I mean, I don't think that there's anything else out there other than this opportunity of looking at a wellness home. So check it out.
Thank you, Yoko. I'd agree with you, but the wellness home is all you said. And we can go out, we can find other air filters, but can we find one that doesn't pollute our air with ozone? We can find water filters. I mean, can we find one that removes all the terrible things and then puts good things back in the way nature intended? I mean, I love the way Nikken uses that science and technology to recreate a healthy environment for us, whether we're talking about the sleep pack or anything else. So thanks, Yoko. So now I'm going to introduce and turn it over to Phil Hansen. And Phil's got a great story to share with us. Phil, you're up in Minnesota, I do believe.
Yes, I am. Fairmont, Minnesota, and I've been living here all my life, really. And I taught physical education as a profession, and my whole beginning and end has been activity all the way through. And I love to bike. I've biked many thousands of miles, and whenever I had a chance, I would go on a bike. And one time we were just kind of fooling around with a bike, and 2 other guys said, hey, let's bike up and watch a track meet. And so I said, okay. And so we started, and the weather was bad. It was hot. It was 96 degrees, and the wind was out of the south, and we were going north. We were going north, and then it was supposed to switch to the north later on that night. Well, we didn't get to that point, but the other 2 guys, they dropped out right away because of the heat and everything. And I thought, well, I'm going to go. So I thought I had enough water, and I had the sports bottle with me, and I had some other containers, but I didn't have enough. And it was a 43-mile trip, and along about 40 miles, I started to cramp up on my legs and when I was biking, and then I got off and walked a little bit, and then I found that, boy, I couldn't even walk because my body would not, I just was losing my balance and everything. And so I just finally sat down on the side and thought, well, I'll wait for somebody to pick me up, and they did. took me up to the track meet, and I staggered my body along the fence and along ways to the latrine and where there was other water, so I could fill my bottle, sport bottle, and my pie mag water bottle, and I thought, boy, I'm really thirsty, and so I started drinking it, and I just kept track of how many I drank, and I ended up drinking 16 bottles of water that night, and then finally the body started coming around, and I was able to go out and watch the track meet, and then I got a ride home with a friend of mine from um, town, and so I couldn't believe how drastic the need for the body to have water right there and right then when it was, and temperature is not that usually that hot here. And then I had a stroke back in 1970 or 2015, and the rehab lady, she said, when I first went to the rehab place, it was on a Tuesday, and she said, well, you get showered and everything, get ready to go, and she said, we'll test your arm and see where your body is suffering, and of course my left side was all paralyzed, and so she said, well, we always start with the finger test, which is touch your fingers to your thumb. And I said, oh man, I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, I can't do that. I said, I can't even move it, And she said, well, just try the best you can. So I took my finger and my pointing finger and thumb, and I struggled like crazy to get it. And I finally, after a long time, touched my finger to my thumb. And I said, that's it. I said, oh, that's all I can do. And then my wife had brought the sport bottle or the Mag water system over, and I said, boy, I got to get a drink of that water. And so I took 2 big glasses of water, and she very sarcastically and surprised, she said, well, let's see what you can do now. And so I said, well, okay, I held out my hand, and after I had drank the water, and my pointing finger went to the thumb, next finger went to the thumb, the next one, they all went to the thumb right away, and I didn't have any problem. And her eyes got big as saucers, and she said, wow. She said, what's in that water? And I said, well, it's a long story, but I said, it's pie water and it's good. And so I told her, I said, I'll tell you more. She said, well, why don't you go up and down the hall and sell it? I said, well, I can't move, so how am I going to do that? So anyway, that was before the changes have been made. But the whole bottom line is water is very, very necessary. And I basically, even before, when I was young, I was raised on water, and we had our own well, and we did all walking, and was very, very active and good health. And I was a competitive athlete all the way through until I had a stroke. And now I'm just about ready to get back into competitive.
Well, that's great, Phil. And you kind of answered the question before I had a chance to ask it. As a stroke survivor, I think you've done, because we're pretty close and we talk quite a bit. I think the Wellness Home has really helped you recover from that and get back to a, vibrant, healthy life.
You're absolutely right, because I've used all the products at one point in time, and every one of them, I feel it every day, every night. You're absolutely right.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
So next we have Karen Willens, and Karen has a doctorate of naturopathic medicine. So Karen, why don't you share with us?
I'd be happy to, Dr. Gary. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story. My background is I'm a registered dental hygienist. I am now retired. I had to retire 20 years ago due to a disability. I had agonizing muscle soreness throughout my body. It developed into a brain fog, meaning I could not think clearly. So nothing was functioning in my body if the brain isn't thinking properly. And I had bone density issues. And I figured 20 years ago, I was still pretty young and I needed to learn how to get well. So there was nothing that the medical community could offer me at that time, which is fine with me because I didn't believe in drugs anyway, because they all have side effects. So I went back to school actually and learned natural health. So I was doing that for about 4 years, and I still wasn't well. And I could actually feel my body going downhill. And that's when I was introduced to Nikken. I started using the technologies, and they actually started helping me, even though I didn't realize it at first. It took me 3 years to finally realize that I was getting better. And I realized it because I was able to dance at my daughter's wedding, which I had not been able to do before that. So my agonizing muscle soreness has gone away. My brain fog is gone. I think very clearly. I'm very sharp. I had joint issues. My joints are actually improving. And it was the technologies that supported my body so that I could feel comfortable. And then the water hydrated me properly so that everything was working better. And, you know, the nervous system is it's the electrical system for your body that runs it. And so it needs water to run on. And so I was now being hydrated. So everything was starting to work better. And now I'm using the nutritionals, and it's helping my body build strength. So I have used everything in the wellness home like everybody else has. And it's made a tremendous difference in my life because I actually feel younger and better than I did 20 years ago. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you.
Thank you, Karen. And you kind of stole what I usually say. I'm 68 years old and I feel better than I did when I was 48 years old. And many people, and if you're a guest here listening to this, you're kind of wondering, well, wow, I mean, that's pretty incredible stories. But our bodies are pretty incredible too. And I say that as a physiologist. If we provide it with the right tools, it can heal and protect ourselves. And pretty much, if I were to simply describe the wellness home, that's what it does. And it makes our choices very simple, very cost effective, affordable, and extremely efficient. And it's not just the water, it's not just the MagFlex, it's not just the air, it's the combination of these things. But, and you know, everybody says, so how do I start? And I'm a big proponent of starting with good, healthy water. Start with the water system or the water pack. That actually, when we're well hydrated, everything else works much better too. So we have different packs. We can see the water pack there. These are specially priced. We have some great promotions going on this month, so check back with the person. We have a 10% off on individual products and free shipping. So it's a great month to start your wellness home. We have the energy pack, the sleep pack, and we have some core nutrition. And this is a quote that I say often, the wellness home's like a greenhouse for humans. It's the most logical and effective prevention-focused healthcare, self-care system in the world. So we invite you to be part of our global wellness community And for more information, contact the person that sent you this presentation or asked you to join us this evening. I want to really thank our guest speakers, our presenters this evening. Thank you so much for sharing your wellness home stories. Very profound, very poignant. Y'all did a great job. And with that, I just want to thank